couple and as a family thina silapha endlini yabo. So
challenges at that time when you were pregnant.
Oh,
not,
when
not,
I was
not now. Yes, when you were pregnant with Alu and you were in university and you were pushing your stomach like this, what were the challenges you faced there with everything? Yes,
with everything. What were the challenges you faced when you were pregnant out of wedlock?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We're not married, most of
yeah,
that
we're
time.
not
Yes.
married. Challenges. Oh, guys.
Out with it. People are here to listen.
Yeah, and Saturday. For me, it was a fear of having a choice assorted zabantwana. A fear of having a choice assorted zabantwana abengenatata.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, because nani were like, okay, if Anga decides to get married one day with somebody else, what's gonna happen to umntana wakhe? Is it gonna be a pattern yokubana benabantwana who abangenatata actively, in as much as he was there throughout the pregnancy and even after I gave birth he was there, but it was not the assurance for me that he is gonna be there forever. And he was just a perfect father that. So is this something that is gonna be short-lived for me and the child, or is it something endizongena like uzawundithatha lo mntana nditshate and we become a family together? So it was sort of, at that point I felt like if those things happen, it's gonna be like a history repeating itself for me. So I was, in as much as I was happy that he was there as the father, but not fearful at the same time. And you know, those things as going to relationship and all that. So yeah, that's one of the challenges that I think I faced. Yeah.
Okay. Well, now I think one of the key challenges I faced was the rejection. As you might be aware, samithisana, samithisana, and we were Christians and we were still Christians, but we were saved at the time and we were still saved. So in Christian spaces, when umithisa intombazana, it's a big thing because it's wrong to begin with. I'm not saying they say it's wrong. I know it's wrong. It's wrong, and it undermine the very same thing that you are calling yourself. That is a Christian. So one of the challenges was being put aside, and all your friends, or most of your friends, all because some remained, most of your friends or most of the people you thought were friends to you disappear, and I think that's the time you are going through a lot of stress, because am I gonna be a good father and all of that, and then on top of that you have this life of yours that is settled around into ekuthiwa nabazalwane ke becawe, who don't want to associate with anything that is bad in their eyes or in the eyes of whoever approves whatever they approve. So for me that was the challenge, but how I navigated through that challenge was I had an I don't care attitude. Ndandibona andikhathali umuntu omithisileyo apha ndima ingabo and andimithisa bona. So ndingamithanga bona nje, I don't think I have to worry myself about them. Those who go must go and those who remain must remain. And I used to tell them about what I'm cooking here and because I knew I had a plan in mind, but I'm not gonna just hit and run mitis and balek, but I'm gonna see it through. So for me that was the challenge, but I was emotionally ready for it, and I even spiritually not ready for one, because I knew it's inevitable. because it's a pattern I've seen or a trend I've seen. But okay, once churches today actually they once amoshe ke kuthiwa hamba ngabomosha uphume phaa kude, there's no one who's willing to help, no one who's willing to ensure that lo mntu umoshileyo gets disciplined and comes back on the right track. But I think that challenge it had made me learn a valuable lesson of depending solely on God and not on people God has put around me, and not base my life on them, but base my life on how I view life to be. And yeah, man, it has had good benefits because today sihleli kumnandi, asimithanga mntana sisesikolweni, and we are living our lives the best way we could, and khange sivumele that experience to cripple us and isiparalyze, isenze sizibone seziphuqe zabantu because we have failed a certain standard. I'm not saying we didn't fail the standard, we did fail the standard, but we didn't let that to sibe morosed and sihlale sizinze ba hayi ke thina simoshile, hayi ke thina sonile, hayi ke thina, and then omnye abheke ngapha, and then today sishiyeka siregreta actually why did we do that. And it's a life lesson that we would learn again. It's not a life lesson we regret because the lessons that we found out of it, they are valuable, and given a chance to learn it again, we would learn it again. So yeah, that was the most challenge. And yeah,
ne?
Next question.
Okay, what advice would you give a young couple or young couples?
Young couples advice?
Yeah, for me, I hate this thing yokuthi ke mna ke umuntu kuyanyanyezelwa emtshatweni or kuyathini. I really don't believe umuntu uyamnyamezela. Like uyamnyamezela. There is always a way. Like there's this person like enambuza before ukuthi kunjani emtshatweni, and she said umtshato yimbiza oyiphekayo. If ufuna ibe mnandi iza kuba mnandi, if uyifuna ibe bitter then izoba bitter. So I think that's the advice I would give you, as I would give young couples today. Ukubana be intentional about things emtshatweni or good relationships in general. Be intentional. Don't always go for scorisha points all the time or even come out right all the time. Like like just be intentional, even if I come nandi or anything, because at the end of the day you are not there to serve yourself but to serve your partner. Whatever makes your partner happy, be glad to do it. Serve your partner kakuhle. And another thing is that I think there is always a way to work things out. Noba like at the moment kubuhlungu ingati this is not gonna work out, you are at the wrong place and all that, there's always a way. Wonke umntu right, guys, for wena umntu wakho. I don't know how to put it, but I would just advise you, like, banihlale and talk things through for your sake, for isake yabantwana also, and for the sake of the vows that you made before God. Zibalulekile, like you don't just take your vows for nothing, or even that it was just a thing of that moment. It's not, it's a lifetime commitment. And xa ucommitted kwinto, like uyazinikezela kuyo nyani. I was babe umzekelo the other day ubana this lady from where I used to work were complaining about how ikawe impathe ngayo and her husband and all that. But then I got a revelation yokubana we go to work every day, and in managers zethu siyasigxeka every day. They're like, there's always esa stink basibekayo kuthi, but we put so much effort to umsebenzi lona wethu. How about we do the same things for our families, for our relationships, for the God that we love, sends the same things, then you know life would work out very nicely, and you wouldn't regret a thing. So that's the advice I would give young couples. No one is perfect, but with God's help and presence, ebomini bethu izinto zonke zihamba smoothly. He's a God of order. So yonke into iye isebenze, and faith is important kakhulu. Ukholwa ukuthi you are with the right person, and you will continue, you will begin to see ukuba nyani ngumuntu oright lona. Kholwa ukubana he made a mistake ngento ethile, he didn't mean it this way. Then you're gonna start to see good emntwini. You just have that faith and that strong belief emntwini wakho and nakuThixo. If you believe in God, then it's even easier to believe nasemntwini wakho or your partner. So that's all I can say. It's doable. Kumnandi, guys, to have a permanent place or somewhere where you belong and it's permanent, and you have made a decision why you stand by in your heart that it's permanent. So it's nice like that. Families do work out, guys. Relationships do work out. Everything is doable, and you're going to solve it. So that's all I can say. No matter how small it is, everything is solve it. It doesn't have to be big or anything. So that's all I can say.
Oh, choka man. Yeah. You still a question? Or advice to young couples? Yes.
Couples.
Well, my advice would be, know you are there for a reason. I think that would be the first advice I would give. There's a reason why, out of billions of men and women out there, that God has decided that only the two of you must be together. And find that reason and cherish it, because it's a very important reason. It will keep you through the storms, it will keep you kusekumandi, it will keep you through everything. That reason, which is intent. But why are we together? Is it just the looks? Is it so? Because it must go beyond that to the person, because the looks, they fade and they go away, but the reason why you are there, it brings conviction that you are in this for life, and you are in this forever. So you must find that element in your marriage, or in your marriage. You must find that element that distinguishes you from the rest of us, because there are many couples out there, but each couple has got their own unique thing that keeps them. And two, do not try to copy into yenziwa ngabanye abantu and try to bring it up ekhaya, because my uncle once said amanye amadoda pha abafazi babo, they go bagcwala istrato, and then xa bebuya abo bafazi bangaphiki bangathini, babebuya bahlanjwe inyawo. Now if you're gonna go and copy that and ucinga izosebenza for wena, you're gonna be in trouble. And then say there are amanye amadoda who go nothanda, umntu aduke weekend yonke, but when they come back they get embraced and accepted ba unje kutata lapha. But when you're gonna take that and want to implement it apha kwakho, ingangasebenzi. So you must find your uniqueness as a couple, to say Tina, as this couple singobani, what do we stand for and what do we not stand for. And two, I think also you must have goals in place. But niyapi as this young couple, and nisiya nje kule ndawo niya kuyo niyanjani, because uyokuba akutshate loba makube mnandi simane sinyumbazana apha endlini, simane siteketiso alu abantwana. But we must have a vision and a plan to say where are we going and how do we get there. And also what we need to also to advise young couples is, do not suffocate each other. You are two different people but made one. And so do not sanukwenza the person to mangayeki umbini, or she must not cease to exist because she's married to me. She must continue being herself and I must continue being me. So I would advise that do not make sure you do not Make sure you make sure you do not get into a space where one feels like I'm suffocating in this relationship, and I now am confused. But ndingubani outside it, ndingubani within it. So you must be individuals who are joined together. Also, do not try to be bossy, and do not try to be in control of everything. Because society out there teaches us that indoda must have control of the household. Indoda must do this, indoda must do this. We are bombarded with all these indoda type of things. And they come and they become toxic in our families because we don't know how to implement. Now it's oppressive inside. So please, I also ask that you don't take those things and uzamuzinyanzela. I believe that unkosikazi wakho as a man must get into the groove of this moving wheel. Azingenele egiyeni without you kumfaka egiyeni. Now as a woman, umyeni wakho makangene egiyeni without you kumfaka egiyeni. My uncle used to say that when you have a problem with your wife, sit down and talk about it. Needed. If a solution you lala ngongekho solution, and leave the problem, it's gonna come back, even if it comes back after a week or after a month, until you find a solution to the problem. Sometimes you will not find a solution to whatever you were talking about. Maybe it's a personality clash or whatever. But with time, that thing is being smoothened and ironed out, and the world will say you are bottling things, but you are not. But you are not you are trying to find a compromise into how do we get to adjust to this, because this thing yani into yakhe. Lastly but not least, so we are just touching the surface. Lastly but not least, you must define what are fundamentals and what are petty things. I think that one is very important. But kube khona izinto ezi-fundamental kuwe, kube khona izinto ezi-petty kuwe, so that when you argue, for instance, ngento ye-polish, ba ndishiye i-polish pha ndipolish, and then my wife comes engxamele phaa uba wena ushiye i-polish, blah blah blah. For me, I don't see need to react to that with the same voodoo aze ngayo, because kuye it might be fundamental because nguye ukline phaa kweza space mna ndiyangcolisa. But for me, it's just a polish, so I must be able to lose some battles. So it must not be able to mayingaphelisi the joy in the house. I must just ndibuye umva ndicela uxolo ndisule ipolish le ubomi buqhubeke. So yeah. so that's what I'm trying to advise, that fundamentals must be there and petty things must be there. And do not argue over petty things. You must argue over fundamentals until you find solutions. But don't spend time, man. Kwinto eziphethe ezifana noba ngubani oshiya licephe apho bendosulile kule counter, ba ngubani why la maphephe lapha phansi. All those type of things. All of those type of things, they are petty. Yes, they might be petty to me, but they might be fundamental to her. And what is fundamental to me might be petty to her. But what I've noticed in this short time is clearly together is that most of the times we do not argue about fundamentals. We only argue about petty things. So over petty things, one must be able to talk to sort of win the verbal battle, just for the sake of having peace. And yeah, man, have fun and be young. Ningafuna uguga nibancinci nitshatile, because you go there and you meet abantu abagugileyo nabantu abazama ukuzi-impose kuni. Be young, be fresh, and ninxibe ohlobo nifuna unxiba ngalo, nihambe ohlobo nifuna uhamba ngalo, nithethe ohlobo nifuna uthetha ngalo, nihambe nabantu nifuna uhamba nabo, and have freedom in your marriage. Ningavalelwa by expectations that the world imposes on you. So yeah, we'll speak more on this maybe on the future videos. Okay. 2 questions, then we are off.
How do you keep friends? How do we keep friends? Like our friends.
Quando we friend.
About that.
How do you keep a friend? This boy is trying to disturb this video.
There's actually no formula on how I've been keeping differences. But you you know, being a wife and a mother, it comes with a lot of electric pressure and all that, and you don't really have much time most times to say uzoya kwi-friends zakho and all that. And for me, Geshem, as I'm friends, they are quite distant, but there's one thing that I appreciate about them. Into yokubana even if I have 5 minutes to spare, or ndithethe nabo or ndiyobabona for those 5 minutes, they always
Look at this guy.
They always appreciate that, and now I appreciate how they because I don't have married friends. That's the one of the challenges. I don't have married friends, so they sort of get into the groove, but understand. Oh, sorry guys. Sorry, people, some better. So that's how, like, they sort of get into the groove. You're gonna okay in the chat, and I have this so much on my plate, and they appreciate now how I make time for them. Yes, and we just keep in contact, and yes, I understand that. I don't know how I don't know how to put it, because but we have found a way and not that thing we demand each other's time and attention, but like you didn't call me leveki yonke. You didn't call me leveki yonke, so that's the end of our friendship. Or I was going through this leveki and because you didn't call me. So we always find it. You don't go. So yeah, we're talking about that. So yeah, that's basically how I've been keeping them. Just the little time that I have, I can't go to Gile, just to share with them. Because most of the times I don't even use my phone.
These came back from a search.
So I don't even use my phone. So I call them, reach out, check and all this. So that's how I've been keeping them, honestly. There's no formula. It's just that.
Well, for me, how to keep friends. Firstly, how I keep friends is I know I'm too much in contact with friends, because I don't regard them as friends, as I think I've said this before. I regard them as my siblings, as my brothers and sisters. So I'm going to need to, because sisters I'm now on this phone long clash. And so I don't think it's an issue that I have to make like hello. It's not like I Saturdays as till I'm gonna go and meet my friends, or go to boys night Saturdays. No, there's no such a thing apparently, no, because I see them when I pass. For instance, the Greta Joburg, I'm around Joburg, where are you? Then we meet. If I pass maybe Bloemfontein and there's my friend, they're my friend, I'm here around Bloemfontein, then we meet. We don't plan and sit and think how do we make this relationship go. When I pass Mtata, Simons, where are you? And then we meet, even if you look 5 minutes. When I pass King Snow, where are you? So type of a thing. When I pass anywhere, I just call and we meet and it gets there, because we are more like families with my friends. We're more like a family with my friends, and I don't think there should be a plan, a serious between Tina about how do we keep our friendship running. And yeah, man, I think we've been doing good that way, and actually friendships zethu zikhe go through strain. Akho go leyo, we're still fine. We're still fine, and indlela siqhuba ngayo saqhuba ngayo as one big family. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Last question.
The last question. How do you cope with societal pressure and expectations?
Yes. Well, let me answer that so that she closes. Well, I don't think I need any coping mechanism for that. For societal
Societal pressure.
societal pressure,
And
yes, and
expectations.
expectations. I block such, basically. I don't even allow it to stick in my skin. Pressure and expectation evela ngaphandle, because societies, I don't account to society, and society doesn't contribute to who I am in any positive form, given the state of things societies are now. So I don't feel the pressure because I don't allow the pressure to creep in into my skin to begin with. So if it's coping, that coping for me is blocking out the noise from outside and focus on what I feel and think is right, and what I believe on my core values and on my biblical stances that is correct. Therefore, society has been ruled out by that.
Yo, society, guys. Ne? I think now how I deal with it, ne? Yeah, I always see as a trend way too. Because mostly how you're gonna see is how you're gonna see about society eating and eating and is mostly through social media, because we don't really interact kakhulu nabantu. So when I have come across as a trends, I always bring them up and I was, hey baby, did you see the trend it? And what do you what's your take? Then we get to discuss the issue, but so we know ukubana there's no way that we're gonna succumb to societal pressure and all that. Oh, this is gonna come into our home, not just our relationship, just our home. So we get to share ideas and opinions, but also it goes back to values that you have as the family, like he has said that oh baby. Like it goes back to the values that you have, and as we have defined ourselves as a family, singobani tina, and what do we stand for, and iBhayibhile ithini. Like, yo guys, we don't just live. We always apply, like we strive to apply iBhayibhile kubomi bethu bonke, like every day zithini basics zeBhayibhile, like, and how do they apply apha ebomini bethu? How do we even want that to come in? So it's a way of Tina asingabo abo bantu, and we just block it out like that. So even if it's a trend, there's no way it's gonna come in apparently, because siyazazi i-values zethu, siyazazi ubana simele ntoni, we know ne-purpose yethu. So izinto that are there to distract Tina and Christianity bethu, we don't even entertain them. As it says, no, like we just don't. Siyayihleka nje gqithe sihambe and then we move on nobomi bethu. So that's how I've been dealing with it. Nandayibiza ndize apha endlini sithethe sincokole siyihleke if we have to. Siyihleke if we have to.
Basically, yeah, we are rigid like that. We don't allow contamination. It all goes back to that, because the most difficult or even trick to this is that those suggestions, they come and they sit in your mind and you entertain them, and you feel like what is being done apparently is less, because you have allowed the outside influence to come inside. So I think that way of defining ourselves, that if this thing doesn't glorify God, if this thing does not go with our values of being saved and living in a world yabantu abasindisiweyo nabafuna ukuphilela uKristu, if this thing doesn't carry values that are ethical, nezi nomgaqo right or straight, then we don't allow that, whatever it is. So I think that's the summation of what you've just said.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter the source. It can be from a pastor, from whoever,
Aware.
from nobangubani, but if it doesn't sit well with us and with our spirits, then it's not something that we're gonna take, even if it's from a like high pastor, high priest, or whatever.
But
So
the president.
even the president, even if Loyondo doesn't speak to us, then yeah, we just stick to. We're not trying to say. I don't know how to explain it. But if uzisuka kwilizwe or whatever, even if it's someone
Even from our Christian
from our
circles.
yeah. So we always say this, yo, I'm ndixolela ukuba ndibe Christian ebhorayo sizoba famous ezulwini. That's how we always say it to some things that don't speak to us as a Christian. We just say, baby, we're gonna pass this one.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it is.
Okay, I think we've come to an end of this Q&A session. I hope you've learned something and you've taken a few quick bites home. Till next time, thank you very much.
Thank you.